Hello, this is Paloma. I come back with the story the sky is telling for the next few days. Beautiful family, thank you for sharing space with me. So, in the passage between eclipses, we have the equinox this week. It is quite meaningful to me seeing the sun precisely this week in between stories, moving from the last degrees of Pisces into Aries, which is a new year, astrological new year. And if you remember this, in this eclipse season, we are actually having eclipses in two different families. We had the eclipse we just went through in the Virgo Pisces axis, and the next one is the last one in the Aries Libra axis. So there's that transition again. The North Node actually moved from Aries to Pisces this year as well. So there's like this huge transition in this destiny point, which is the North Node from where new experiences, situations, and just new energy flows into our lives. It is this threshold of the ocean of oneness into the individuation, or the fractal I am, fractal of the all, or the all being fractalized, I don't know if that word exists, into the one. But we are actually pendulating there between, like coming and going between worlds, I would say, in these massive culmination and integration, and also the great dawn and the new beginnings, because it is precisely there where Mercury and Venus are also doing the retrograde motion, and we are walking towards this eclipse in Aries, and then Neptune moving into Aries for the first time in 164 years. So it is quite an incisive message, and this part of the sky and part of your chart is like really vibrant with energy, and it is a transition, a change, a death and rebirth. We have always known, though, that every ending is a beginning, but more than knowing, I think we are like deeply embodying this experience towards a very clear consciousness of it. So it is a moment to trust, to flow, and to also calling in temperance, I would say, because we do have this week in between eclipses where the narrative of all of this energy is like getting combined, and simultaneously we do have Venus and Mercury retrograde. So let us just breathe and pause. It's great. I mean, it is a very pertinent update of our values, desires, narrative, perspective, which will make the space, make enough room for these initiatives, or maybe even the coming back to a creative project, for example, that we left in the past. But we are in the process right now, like really in the depth of it. So between before and what's next, like really trying to manage all of this incredible amount of energy, integrating it into our bodies and our stories. So let's be gentle. Let's navigate with grace and love and trust in this quite magical and epic time that we chose to be alive, really. So this week we are opening the week with a lot of Piscean energy. We have the conjunction of the Sun, the North Node, and Neptune at the end of everything and the beginning of everything. This is like a once in a lifetime, though, alignment, because even though we have yearly the meeting of the Sun and Neptune, this is the last time they will meet in Pisces since 2011. And the North Node is the new thing here, and that's a once in a lifetime thing. Perhaps, like myself, you've been dreaming a lot. Like, I have no idea how many lives I'm going through in my dreams, or how many timelines are wanting to sort of organize themselves in my psyche, quite intense. So let us look at this. So it's the Sun, which is consciousness, energy, awareness, identity, plus the North Node, which is, as I said, this door through which new situations and people come into our lives for our evolution. And then there's Neptune, which is the dissolution of everything. He's the master of the dream world, of the spiritual realm. As I said, is the last time the Sun and Neptune will conjunct in Pisces. And usually this embrace invites us to connect with like beautiful inspiration, creativity. It makes us feel like we are sort of in between realms. And it's also a great disillusionment, it could be, because it's dissolving, maybe even transcending something. And with the North Node there, I think it's very much like the energy of this Virgo eclipse, which is like a purification. So this very big like river of new energy can actually find space in our lives, in ourselves, for the new to arrive. I think it's like the most like massive spring cleanse or autumn cleanse, depends where you are, that we've ever been through. So we could have an experience of deep grief and also a connection to this exalted, magnificent love. The moon in the first days of the week is also going to be navigating through Scorpio, like helping us transmute all of this energy until Thursday when we have the equinox. So let us enter this space of acceptance, of just letting go, liberation with gentleness and sweetness as well. 20th of March, we have here where I am in Mexico, it's at 3:01 in the morning. The equinox, one of these big doors in the wheel of the year. The sun will enter this degree of creation, which is the 0 degree of Aries. And this is, as I said, the new year astrologically. And it's really an energy of renewal, I would say, because there's so much like really transcendental things going on in this space, as I've mentioned. Like we are going towards, like we have the equinox, then we have the Venus star point there in Aries, Mercurio Cassimi, then we have the eclipse, and then we have Neptune going into the 0 degree of Aries, and then we have Saturn as well. So as I said, this is like a very vibrant space in our lives, in our charts. If we look at the chart of the event, the moon is already in Sagittarius there, so more fire. It gives me this taste of like a collective vision quest, like a renewal of the adventure of being alive, a reignition of our altars, our motivations, our purpose. But yes, indeed, Mercury and Venus are retrograde there. So it gives me the sensation of like a very reflective fire. Actually, as I was like writing the class for this, the image that came to me was like when you are staring at a bonfire, like staring at the fire in this dialogue with Grandfather Fire, perhaps before dawn, having this moment of connection, because yes, it is a moment still of introspection. I think by perhaps mid-April, we will have a lot more clarity on this new energy and the impulse to set it in motion. Because for now, it could end up being like a false beginning if we precipitate too much. Therefore, temperance. What I do read in this chart, if I look at it as a tuning for the whole year, I do see a year of great inspiration, of the spark of creativity, of openness, and also introspection, like taking deep breaths so we can truly respond from a more direct experience of ourselves and of life, and being really intentional with how we move all of this energy. As always, my invitation is to really attune yourself to Mother Earth and celebrate with her this turning of the wheel. She's updating all of her fields, her electromagnetic field. The ley lines sing with her and with us because we are her. During this portal of the equinox, 3 days before, 3 days after, there's this very very intense download of solar energy as well through the equinox. And the equinox is speaking of equilibrium, of balance. So how can we collaborate with this energy in this integration also of our own polarities, and in this restoring the pact of love between masculine and feminine energy in order to create? I would invite ritual into your life, into our lives, because this allows us to stay connected, and it also helps to give some order to all of this very intense amount of energy through devotion and beauty, like creating a gratitude altar, a candle, a song, a dance, and also giving yourself a moment. We are truly entering another dimension of being the I am that we are. and let us give us the time to arrive to this self-realization moment. If we look at the chart, the sun is already drawing the sextile to Pluto in Aquarius. So this is another key to this year, which is newness. It's like really, really new. There is no reference for what wants to be manifested in this space. And it will come, it will be birthed from your connection to yourself, to your creativity, passion, and heart. And yeah, then on the 22nd of March, 2 days afterwards, which is next weekend, we will have the Sun and Venus joining in the 2nd degree of Aries as well, more fire. This is the Venus star point, which, as you can imagine, is also a beginning point, because this is like a new moon for Venus. She is opening a spiral of 8 years. With smaller spirals of integration of this whole process. But this is a really beautiful power point in terms of creative energy, creative potentiality. It's like an insemination of the solar energy to the planet of love, creativity, resources, values, relationships. And Mercury is there as well. So the way in which we express, we communicate, we interact, and they're all talking to Pluto in Aquarius. So it's about, a very visionary, innovative energy. And this will align with the cycle of the eclipse in Aries as well. So I think we're entering this period of very powerful revolutionary energy and initiatives. Yet, not now. Like right now, to me, the energy is like you done first within, and then you start irradiating, can I say that? Like radiating this energy into the outside, but it will take a moment, right? So let's think about this Venus star point as an ignition point. To be honest, I see her Venus star point as a fusion, though, between Aries and Pisces energy, because she joins the sun there, but we will see her rise as a morning star when she enters Pisces, and she's about to go back into Pisces. So there's that transition again in her own cycle. But well, I would say it's a new cycle of, obviously, in Aries initiatives, like very pioneer energy, independence, courage. We're talking about fire, so it's creativity, passion, enthusiasm. And there's also, yes, impulsivity, rage, anger, and maybe even war, because we do associate collectively this energy of Aries ruled by Mars as war. And Mars, believe it or not, even though he is moving direct, he's still in Cancer as part of his very long journey of updating. So, I mean, look at the massive update we're having. Mercury, Venus, Mars, and then the sun moving into this by touching the North Node. It's quite massive. It's quite immense energy. No, and I think it is us who filtrate, percolate this energy through our conscient choices, or not, but we do become or choose the frequency of expression of this energy to open destiny, because it's there for that, in an individual and also collective level. I also see it in a way as a mastery of the past couple years, where we were really going deep into our relationship patterns, so we could find a way back to ourselves, from a place of more ideally self-love, self-esteem, self-value, self-respect, and self-realization. So we can now weave new relationships, communities, and ways of collaborating with this capacity to affirm ourselves, and at the same time collaborate or cooperate, because there's Pluto in Aquarius. I hope I'm making sense. There's always a lot to say about these events, but I hope this gives you some of the keys onto what is going on. We will have then this week a lot of water to begin with, and then a lot of fire, as you can see. In my body, it feels, as I was writing this, like this moment with water when it starts getting really bubbly before boiling. Let us give a nice path for all of this energy to flow. There's a lot of codes of evolution coming down from the sun to be anchored in Mother Earth through ourselves as well. May we find and learn to keep center and to keep our connection to the joy, to the bliss of being alive in such a time. It is a very exciting week and exciting time. Yeah, I think that's what I have for today. Thank you for your comments. And yeah, let me know, how are you feeling this transition between realms? Blessings.